Hi guys, this is Aditya Vora here. I hope all of you are doing well. After all, the bull market must be keeping your spirits high, and why not? It's teji all around. That's what stock markets are all about. They surprise you on the upside as well as on the downside. Now, what is common between HDFC Bank, MRF, Infosys and Nestle? Or to the relatively newer generation of investors, what is common between Eicher Motors, Page and Aarti Industries? Apart from the fact that since early days, if you had a sizable quantity of even one or two of these in your portfolio, you would never have to ever work another day in your life. The dividends from these stocks would be sufficient to take care of a major part of your expenses. All of them have been multi-baggers and massive wealth creators for investors. But again, we are talking about this in hindsight. Not many of us would have had the conviction to buy and hold a startup software company called Infosys, or an emerging retail and customer-focused HDFC Bank back in the 1990s. So why are these stocks called multi-baggers and how do we find them? That is the billion-dollar question. We all want to have the next HDFC Bank or the next Infosys in our portfolio. In this video, I have created a framework to help you identify stocks and sectors which could be potential multi-baggers. To start with, the first question to ask yourself is not what to look for, but where to look for. Remember, in investing, once you get an understanding of where to look for, what to buy becomes much easier. Back then, in the 1990s, Infosys and HDFC Bank were small companies in growing sectors, a classic case of a small fish in a big pond. The banking sector was evolving but was dominated by the public sector banks. Back then, the customer needed the bank more than the bank needing the customer. It was HDFC Bank who focused on the customer and built relationships. Now that's very atypical during those days, seeing the PSU banks and the Babu culture within them. As they say, the rest is history. Infosys emulated the same success on a global scale, a classic case of investing in the right sector. The headroom for growth is the most important precursor in choosing a sector to invest in and finding the multi-bagger within that sector. It is said a shark in a fish tank would grow only 8 inches, but in the ocean it will grow to 8 feet or maybe even more. The shark can never outgrow its environment. And the same is true when identifying companies. Look for a small fish in a big pond rather than a big fish in a small pond. Your job is to look at companies which are small but growing and gaining market share in industries which are expected to expand. The key point here is industries which are expected to expand. The focus cannot be on large caps when finding multi-baggers. Apart from the most important factor, which is the size of the opportunity, there are some other ingredients which should be kept in mind when answering the question where to look for. Sectors which are likely to benefit due to tailwinds or change in government policies should be shortlisted. The PLI scheme is a classic example of finding multi-baggers from the sector. I am also a believer of this theory which says where a sector which hasn't performed over the past 7 to 10 years has a higher chance of delivering returns in the next decade. This is because a decade of underperformance would mean many small companies in the sector would have shut shop and perished. Only the strong would have survived. And when the time comes, they are likely to emerge even stronger. Imagine a small company not only surviving the competition but also difficult times in the sector. The stock in that sector can be your Shaktiman going ahead. A casing point of the above is real estate. However, this is not applicable in extreme cyclical sectors like metals and commodities. That sector is not a place to look for when you are finding multi-baggers. Now that where to look for is figured out, let me focus on the ingredients to look for while finding companies. My first ingredient is 3 qualities to look for in a small fish. A company in the small cap, micro cap space whose products or services are gaining recognition and giving incumbents the sleepless nights. For example, during the 1990s, it was Marico, a refined edible and hair oil maker, who took on the mighty HUL and beat it in its own turf. It was the out-of-the-box thinking of Mr. Harsh Mariwala who introduced small packs to gain market share, apart from several other initiatives undertaken. Secondly, the companies which are creating a niche either by product differentiation or better utility. A classic example would be Eicher Motors with Royal Enfield. Siddharth Lal carved out a segment which did not exist in the Indian two-wheeler market and made it relevant. That is the niche I am talking about. Lastly, many times the larger companies do not focus on opportunities below a certain threshold. That is where small companies can take advantage and build a niche. The pharma sector is a classic example. Sub-segments like contract development and manufacturing, API manufacturing, have evolved due to this logic. Now my second ingredient is the Karta Dharta of the company, the promoter. Unlike large caps who have a huge organizational structure and systems in place, a small company generally relies on the acumen of the promoter. While finding multi-baggers in the small cap space, it is important to focus more on the jockey than the horse. As the horse gets more familiar with the racetrack, his performance is likely to increase. But during the initial days, it is the jockey who is going to lead him. It is the acumen, the fire in the promoter's belly, which is going to steer the company. That is what you must bet on in a small company. One more sign I look for is if promoters in a small company increase their stake during difficult times. It shows confidence in the company. Also, soft qualitative factors like frivolous expensive and show of extravagance is generally a red flag for me. Till date, Mr. Narayan Murthy travels by economy class. When you are building a company, being stingy is what is required. My third ingredient is what I call the eye on the future. In life, your future plans are key to achieve your future goals. The same is the case with companies. I am talking about the capex which a company is undertaking. Whenever a company thinks it's running short of capacity and demand is exceeding supply, it will undertake expansion. As an investor, you should focus on such companies who are in the process of building capacities or have recently commissioned them. The incremental growth is likely to come from these new capacities. Also, while doing this, you should be wary of companies which undertake expansion by raising too much debt. A mix of debt and internal cash flows is fine. However, too much leverage could invite disaster, and that is if the industry slows down. My last ingredient is what I call cash is king, debt is hazardous. The most important element in finance is the cash which a company generates and not profits. For a small company, what is important is cash flow and not profits. Debt is good, but debt beyond a limit becomes poison. While I understand small companies need to grow rapidly and debt is a way to fuel the expansion, I have seen the smartest people too failing in life due to debt. A company which expands using internal accruals and limited debt is a classic precursor to be a multi-bagger, to say the least. Now, there is one quality which supersedes all of the above. If you don't have that, all of the above is meaningless. That quality is holding on to your conviction during downfall or a market crash. Multi-baggers take time to compound, and if you interrupt the process of compounding, the multi in the bagger goes away. I have seen people create a fortune by holding on to Wipro shares which they had purchased during the IPO. A few thousand rupees have translated into crores of rupees. And mind you, this is after Wipro underperforming for a long period in the early part of this decade. Their conviction paid off. That's the power of patience, compounding and conviction in your ideas which make multi-baggers. I am sure you must be interested in knowing which sectors to find multi-baggers from over the next 10 years. So, my answer is focus A on small companies in the chemical space for the simple reason that China plus one shift is actually happening. Now it is a matter of conjecture whether it is going to be plus 1, plus 0.5 or plus 0.2. On a conservative basis, even if I assume a 20% shift, which is China plus 0.2 to India, and incremental 20% will be huge for the Indian companies. The goal is to look for small companies which are facing competition from China when they sell their products in India and abroad, but have a limited reliance on China for sourcing raw material. This combination will go a long way. Now, my second bet is small companies in the contract manufacturing space for the mobile and consumer durable industry. In the roti, kapda, makan analog, roti and kapda have been replaced by mobile and electronics. The logic being massive opportunities as per capita GDP expands. It is said we are at an inflection point as we cross this level. The expansion will lead to enormous spending. While these are just few places to look for, the universe is massive and expanding. Do write to me what you feel should be the next multi-bagger. Thank you.